The question here is, and by the way, this guy who wrote the book, he claims he's not a pedophile. He's never been accused of being a pedophile. He's never been charged with being a pedophile. He's just exercising his First Amendment rights. And it's a big case here. Now, one person's response was he should be arrested and this book should be banned because no book should be allowed to be written that teaches somebody else how to break the law. And a person who writes such a book should be arrested. One of you actually said this. You're wrong, and here's why. What you're saying is that I should be in jail for writing the book Natural Cures They Don't Want You to Know About. Because the law says only a drug can be used to treat, prevent, or cure a disease. My book tells you how to break the law. It tells you how to cure, prevent, and treat diseases without drugs. My book teaches you how to break the law. Therefore, I should be in jail and my book should be banned. Do you understand? Do you understand? What if somebody says, a guy can't write a book that says, how to cure yourself of diabetes? Rule 1, get off your insulin. Somebody could say in the government, we can't allow this book to be published because if somebody follows the rules in this book, he could hurt himself. Maybe this book on how to cure yourself of diabetes has something stupid in it, like, number 1, go off your insulin, and number 2, eat 10 pounds of sugar a day every day for the next 30 days. Probably not a healthy thing. But the government could say, we can't allow this book to be published because if a person did what the guy said, they could harm themselves. They could hurt themselves. Therefore, the book should be banned and the person who wrote it should be put in jail. Think about that. Where does it stop? You're allowing the government to determine what you should have the right to read or not read based on what they think is good and healthy for you. Do you understand you can't let government keep being the watchdog? We either have freedoms or we don't. If you give your freedoms away and say, well, let the government suggest what we should do, the government's going to tell you can't grow tomatoes. You can't write a book on how to provide solar energy for your house. Think about it. What you're saying is the government should be allowed to ban any book if it breaks the law. Well, according to the law, the government controls and regulates interstate commerce. So if you write a book that says how to drive your car without gasoline, but by using cooking oil, the government could say you can't write that book because if everyone did this, then nobody would be buying gasoline. That would affect interstate commerce, and that's against the law. Therefore, the book can't be published, and because you wrote it, you need to go to jail because you're encouraging people and telling them how to break the law, which is not buying gas. Do you understand how crazy this is? What if I wrote a book on how to reduce your taxes legally? The government could say, you're not telling people how to reduce their taxes legally. You're telling them how to break the law. No, I'm not. Yes, you are. No, I'm not. Yes, you are. No, I'm not. Yes, you are. We're the government. We tell you that you are, therefore you are, and I'm banning the book. The government decides whether you're breaking the law or not. Book ban, you go to jail. Do you understand? What if I wrote a book called How to Have a Peaceful American Revolution? The government could say, you can't write that book because you're encouraging people to create violence and break the law. No, I'm not. It says peaceful revolution. Yeah, but that's a code word. So you're really telling people to be violent. No, I use the word peaceful. No, that's a code word. We're the government. We know what you're really saying. And even if you say peaceful, we're afraid that this book some crazy person could read it. And this crazy person could say, you're right, the government is bad. I need to blow up the White House. Therefore, you're inciting a riot, you're inciting violence, and you're telling people how to go kill the president, which is a crime, and therefore you can't write the book, and you have to go to jail for writing the book. Are you getting this? It always starts with something about the kids. It's always, we need to protect the kids, we need to protect the kids, we need to protect the kids. This guy has never been charged with being a pedophile. He's never been arrested for a crime. He's never been convicted of a crime. He's a law-abiding citizen. He's somebody who said, I'm going to push the envelope and exercise my First Amendment rights. And he wrote a book about pedophilia. There's no pictures. There's no child pornography. It is a book filled with words, opinions. He is exercising his First Amendment constitutional right. That's all it is. Listen, watch a movie, folks. The movie says how to break into a bank, how to be a bank robber. Oh, that movie is teaching people how to break the law, how to rob banks. It's encouraging people to rob banks. Therefore, the movie should be banned, and the guy who made it should be put in prison because he's encouraging people to break the law. See, your comment that this guy should be put in jail and the book banned because the book encourages men or women to break the law by being a pedophile is wrong. Because if that is true in what you say, then the government has the ability to take any book they want off the market and put anybody in jail, and you no longer have a First Amendment. The First Amendment protects free speech, offensive speech. The speech can be anything you want it to be. And if we don't have that right, and the government wants to take that right away from you, if we don't have that right, we've lost everything. They're already taking away our rights to the internet. Right now, the internet is pretty much run by Google, the major search engine. This search engine is already banning websites. It's taking websites and putting it on page 50 so you never find them. So any website that is producing information that the government doesn't want, the government CIA controls Google. If a website is producing information that the government doesn't want out there, it's ordering Google to basically either ban it from the search engine so it never shows up, or B, put it so far down that it never gets looked at. That's number one. Number two, YouTube. YouTube is banning by the thousands videos that are anti-government. It is banning all types of videos, banning them completely. We have censorship, no free speech. Amazon and many of the other retail outlets on the internet that sell books and music and DVDs and videos are banning books from sale. You can't buy them on those websites. This is how censorship is happening on the internet. But there's another way, and it's really the easy way. The easiest way to ban stuff from the internet is this: economic. The government controls Visa and MasterCard, the two largest credit card processors. The government controls the banks, and the government controls PayPal, also Western Union and some of the other fringe methods of payment. If you have a book that you want to sell on the internet, let's say the name of your book is How to Throw the Democrats and Republicans Out of Office Peacefully and Legally to Reclaim Our Country, and the government doesn't want that book being sold, here's what happens to you. One day, your bank, like Bank of America, closes your account without any explanation, which they have the right to do. And they freeze your money pending an investigation, which means you lost all your money for at least 2 to 3 years because they can hold it indefinitely. You don't know this, but this is what's happened to WikiLeaks. It's happened to me. It's happened to dozens of others. So the first thing that happens is the banks get closed. Your bank accounts get closed down, and any money you happen to have there get frozen for years. Nothing you can do about it. Secondly, your merchant processor, how you accept payment from your customers, your Visa and MasterCard, your credit card processing merchant account gets shut down. Visa and MasterCard says, we no longer will allow you to process credit cards from your customers. We're shutting your account, and we are freezing all of your money pending further investigation, which they have the right to do. So they hold your money for another 2 to 5 years. Next, PayPal calls you up and says, we are no longer accepting any payments via PayPal. We're closing your PayPal account, so none of your customers can buy your product and use PayPal. And we're freezing all the money you have in your PayPal checking account. You no longer have access to it pending our investigation, which will take 2 to 5 years. Do you see how that works? Then Google bans you, so nobody will find you anyway. Then your server company, the hosting company where your servers are, they kick you out and say, we're no longer going to host your website. So that's gone. So now you have to basically build your own servers in your own house, get your own infrastructure. Then the government sends attack squads, cyber attacks, to virtually destroy your website with cyber attacks, like sending in a missile. But they don't send in a missile, they send in cyber attacks, so your whole website basically collapses. That's how it works. And everything I just said to you, everything, has happened to me. Every single thing I just mentioned. Banks got shut down and money frozen. Merchant accounts got shut down and money frozen. PayPal accounts got shut down and money frozen. Google banned searches from the websites. Google put the websites on lower tiers. Hosting companies canceled our accounts, and they also freeze the servers. You can't even get them. You have to rebuild from scratch, pending an investigation. Yeah, that's what happens. It's happened to me. It's happened to WikiLeaks. And it happens to anybody who dares challenge government control. And if you challenge government control, you may be thinking, none of this stuff's happened to me. The reason is you're too small. Nobody cares. It's only when you get a big voice do you get attacked. Everything has happened to me. Everything's happened to WikiLeaks. Things like this have happened to Alex Jones, many, many others who have big voices. This is the government that is completely, 100% out of control. Got a story here. It's going to go up on the website. Chase hit with SEC whistleblower complaint over credit card practices. A former employee of J.P. Morgan Chase is suing the bank for wrongful termination. Now, she also filed a whistleblower complaint with the Securities and Exchange Commission. The allegations basically say that Chase, J.P. Morgan Chase, the bank, had what they call grotesque and illegal practices involving its credit card debt processes, including robo-signing. Now, the allegations, I'll explain what these are. J.P. Morgan Chase sold to third-party debt buyers hundreds of millions of dollars worth of credit card account debt, when in fact Chase Bank executives knew that many of those accounts had incorrect and overstated balances. If you've read my book, Debt Cures, or if you heard me talk about this, I have former insiders at the bank and current insiders at the bank, and we know exactly what goes on. When you start charging your credit card, 99% of you never look at your credit card statement month after month after month and really review it and compare it to the previous month. Do you know what happens in over 50% of the cases? Let's say this month you have a credit card balance of $500. I'm just making up the number. Next month, you have 3 charges on your statement. 3 charges for $100 each. You don't look to see what the carryover balance was. If you were to look at last month's statement, you would have found that your balance was $500. And if you were to compare that to this month's statement, what if I told you there's a good chance that balance was carried over instead of $500, but $575? A glitch in the computer. It's called screw you, the customer. That happens all the time. They just add money on constantly. This charges that the executives know that this is going on and were involved in making sure it went on so they can increase profits. It also says Chase Bank executives routinely destroyed information and communications from consumers rather than incorporate that information into the consumer's credit card file, including bankruptcy notices, powers of attorney, notice of cancellation of autopay, proof of payments, and letters